If you're a survivor of violence and are ready to get control of your life again, you're in the right place at the right time. This is the Survivors to Thrivers podcast with your host, Cranford Blackman. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the LABCAF Survivors to Thrivers podcast. I'm Cranford Blackman, your host and the creator of the LABCAF self-protection system. Today, I want to talk to you about an application, a pain app. Now, that sounds like something that would be really weird to find on your phone, and I would be surprised too, because that's not where it is. This is something a lot of you have talked to me about, clients and students just always want to know about fighting and self-defense. Well, guess what? That's what today's talk is about. So the pain app is about defending yourself, about protecting yourself, or stopping someone else from victimizing another person, whether it's somebody in your family or somebody you see at the mall. You can help to stop a bad guy. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think's easier? Fighting off a big guy or fighting off a really small guy? I'm going to guess that most of you would think that fighting off a small guy is easier, but why is that? Why would you think that? Well, probably because you have a belief, which I'm going to show is a little bit erroneous. You have a belief that says, I must be able to overcome a bad guy to win or even escape, which means you got to be stronger, right? Or have some crazy mad ninja skills or something like that. And not a whole lot of people have those, right? Well, of course not. But if you do, that's awesome. But this will still apply to you too. So for you ninja masters, keep listening, okay? So your belief is that you must be able to overcome a bad guy. And I'm doing air quotes around overcome to win or even escape from somebody trying to hurt you. Well, that is false. What you actually need to be able to do is to create pain in that person. You're going to apply pain. That's the app I'm talking about. Pain application. You don't have that in your phone. It's not on your computer. But you know what? One of these days, I'm going to show you how you can use your phone as a method of pain application. I know you're excited about that. Who wouldn't be, right? Well, except that sometimes it breaks your phone. Maybe you won't be too excited. Anyway, let me get back to this. You must be able to cause pain. Now, why would I say that? You see, our bodies, and this is one of the nice things about the LABCAF self-protection program or system, is that it works with what you can already do, and it also uses the response of our bodies, okay? So we have a physical and a psychological response to pain. All of us do, unless you've got one of those strange 1 in a bazillion chance of, mutations where you don't feel pain. But most people do feel pain. So this works over and over again. Our body, as a way of trying to keep us alive, moves away from pain. Our body doesn't like it. Our brain doesn't like it. So, for example, when you touch something hot or you reach down to pick a flower and you don't realize it's got thorns on it, that thorn pokes you in the finger and you snatch your hand away, right? Of course you do. It's not a terrible injury. It's not a danger to your life, but your body sure responds like it is, doesn't it? Of course it does. The same when you touch something hot or when you get shocked. Even if you're just doing the socks on the carpet thing and somebody touches you and it shocks you, you recoil, right? You move away real quick. The same for loud noises. We immediately cover our ears to try to protect our ears. Same for bright, painful lights. And for those of you who are pet owners, whether it's a dog or a cat or a lizard, once it bites you or scratches you, you jerk away, right? Now, a cat scratching you isn't really going to damage you. Unless you get a disease or an infection from them. But just the scratch, their claws are pretty small, right? But if you've got a cat in your hands and you try to wash that thing and it goes to scratching you with those tiny little claws, you're going to put it down pretty quick, aren't you? Yes, you are. And it's not something you have to think about. It's your body trying to get away from pain or damage. Now, those are all small things. It's surprising, how much pain we can get from something as small as a paper cut. Maybe you don't even know it until you put on a little bit of that hand sanitizer, but you sure know it then, don't you? Like I say, that doesn't take much. The small cat scratch, the small dog bite, or that lizard grabbing your finger. Even though that doesn't hurt, it'll scare you to death, and your body will recoil from it as a way to try to protect itself. So our bodies will either try to stop the pain by moving away or protecting that area so it doesn't receive any more damage or have anything or allow anything to cause more pain. And so like I was saying, with a broken bone, if any of you have medical training, like for example, if your clavicle is broken, your body automatically puts your arm in a certain position, and your clavicle's your collarbone. Your arm will go immediately into a certain position. It will stay that way. Your body doesn't want to move because that's the least painful place for it to be. So, and that will happen too with any other breakage of bone or large damage to your body. But it doesn't have to be large damage to work. Our bodies are going to try to stop the pain, whether it's big or little, or move away from it, or protect that area. Okay, so back to the size issue of the big guy or the small guy. Now, who do you think would have more pain receptors? A 6'5", 300-pound guy, or a 5-foot guy who weighs 89 pounds? Well, if you're like a nurse that was in one of my classes, she had never really thought about it before, but she just figured the bigger the person, the more pain receptors. Well, no, that's not the case. They would have the same. And it was funny when I told her that. She gave me a look. I'm like, well, what is it? And she said, I never realized that, but it makes so much sense. Of course, we have the same number of pain receptors. So the large guy and the small guy are both going to experience pain the same. And that's great. That's wonderful for you, no matter your size, because that means that even a child can cause enough pain to escape an attacker or a kidnapper. And that's great. They don't have to be able to do a spinning sidekick or anything like that. All they have to do is cause enough pain to get a person to let go of them, or for that bad guy to realize he has grabbed the wrong kid. So you don't have to actually debilitate somebody to get away from them or to get them to change their mind about what they're doing or who they're doing it to. So all you have to do is be able to apply pain. And the other thing is, it's very important to remember this, because we learn some terrible things watching movies and watching TV. Like when you see a movie and a woman slaps a guy and suddenly he comes to his senses and realizes he shouldn't mess with her. Does that happen for real? No, of course it doesn't. Unless it's your brother, or unless you have a really jerky brother and maybe he's drunk. That might not work. So anyway, the point is, when you're causing pain, you don't do it just once. You do it until you get the result that you wanted from the attacker, which is either to let you go, to run away, to drop you, to drop that child of yours that he or she is trying to kidnap, because remember, bad guys can be women too. So you keep applying pain as much as you need until you get what you want, which means you escape, or you're able to get to a safer location. Okay, so you keep on doing it. Now, there's something I want all of you to know, and it's this. And this is important when thinking about fighting back against an attacker. Here's what it's important to know. You're stronger than you think. That's both physically and mentally. A lot of you may have grown up thinking you're not capable. Maybe you've heard it from your family or your parents or your friends, but you are. Your body is an incredible, incredible organism. It's very strong. Okay, so's your brain, your mind. It's very strong. You can get through stuff that you would be amazed at. You're also tougher than you think. When you understand what's going on with your body, you can be more resilient when someone's trying to hurt you. Now, that's important for you to know, because it helps you to think clearly. even when your body's hurting, even when your body is telling you, oh no, we need to get away, we got to do something different. But if that's in opposition to what you actually need to do to save your life, to save your spouse, to save your child, you have to be able to know that you can push through that. All right? Also, you can survive more than you think. And this is something that I teach in my classes. It's another one of those incredibly terrible things we learn on TV. If you get shot, what do people think? You're going to die, right? Unless you're the hero of the show. Then it doesn't matter how many times you get shot. Well, guess what? You are the hero of your own show. You're the first responder to the attack. So you are the hero of your show. You can survive more than you think. Like I said before, our body is an amazing organism. It will heal. It'll stop bleeding. It'll go numb in places so that we can't feel an injury, so that we can continue to fight and survive. It's an amazing thing. You really can survive more than you think. And another really important thing I want you to remember is this. You have far more resources than you think you do. And that's no matter where you are, whether somebody catches you in the shower, or while you're out camping, or while you're working in the yard, or at work, or in your car. There are so many resources that you have available to you. And we're going to talk about that in future episodes, okay? But it's just important to remember. I want you to get that in your head now. It's one of those things that will help you build up your courage and your belief in yourself. Okay, so there are things outside of you and things within you that are resources that you haven't recognized yet. And this is one of them. This knowledge, this understanding that it doesn't require you to be a butt kicker. You don't have to be a ninja or a Delta Force soldier to get away from a bad guy, that you can do it by applying pain. That's great. That's a huge piece of knowledge. And that should give you a ton of confidence. It's the kind of thing that allows people like you and me to be able to step out of just being a survivor and being a thriver. It's what helps us realize we can take care of ourselves. So get that in your head, okay? You are capable, and I'm going to help you find all those capabilities too. And not only does it help you to get more of a belief in yourself, it should help you remember when an attacker is bothering you, or maybe it's just a jerk, not an attacker, somebody in a bar or at a party, or someone trying to take your purse or whatever. It's good for you to know that regardless of their size or your size, you do have the capability to cause pain, inflict pain, and change their mind about what they're doing. So today's lesson should open your eyes to one of those incredible resources that you have, the ability to apply pain. And that can be far more important than needing to be able to beat somebody up or kick their behind like a karate master. That's an important thing to know. And that a bad guy's body, regardless of how big or how small he is, will respond to that pain appropriately. Another resource you can actually use is psychological resources. And I'm going to talk about those in a different episode too. But things like the psychological effects of blood. A lot of people can't stand to see their own blood. And I'm going to go over those tips and hints on using the psychology of blood, like I say, in another episode. It's a little bit funny as I think about some of the things I've learned and used just psychologically against a bad guy or an enemy. As you know, I'm a former soldier. But it's the knowledge like this, the ability to stop someone by causing pain, to know that you have resources, to know that you're strong, to know that there are psychological things you can do that require no strength whatsoever. It's knowledge like this that can help you become far more than just a survivor. Because remember, that's what we're all trying to do here, me as well, trying to move from being just a survivor to being a thriver, where we do wonderful things in this world and feel great about ourselves again and feel confident about ourselves. So this new understanding should really change your mindset about your capabilities. Even though you don't know all of them yet, we're going to get to them. It's about your capabilities regardless of your size or of an attacker's size. There are so many things that you can do. So here's the important thing to remember from today. As a matter of survival, the human body wants to avoid and stop pain, and it does it instinctively. So it happens without thinking about it. And that is incredible. You can and should use this to your benefit. And remember, when did I say you stop applying pain to a bad guy? When you're safe, when you've escaped, when you've got the child out of their hands. It might seem mean, but it's not mean. It's about survival. The next understanding that I want you to have that's going to greatly help you is the use of what I call secondary pain application. And that is a huge benefit to you. Again, regardless of your size, regardless of an attacker's size. But that's going to be for another episode, okay? So I want you to stay tuned. If you haven't already subscribed to our page, please go over to LABCAF.com, LABCAF.com, and subscribe there. Get on our email list, and you'll hear when these classes come out. Oh, I'm sorry, not classes. Well, I guess they are mini classes, MINI classes. These episodes, the new podcasts come out where I'm going to be teaching you all these things and explaining how you can be stronger, how you can move from survivor to thriver. So please do subscribe. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up, like us, and share this with the other folks that you know, okay? You want them to be safe as well. Something I'd really like you to do is just go down in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what your views are on the ability to use pain application rather than fighting skills to get away from somebody. Now, like I say, if you're already a karate person or a Krav Maga person or a ninja, whatever, not a ninja, somebody that studies ninjutsu, you know what I mean. Regardless of what your skills are, the understanding of pain application fits into any of those. So please do let me know what you think about this. And if you come up with a way that you haven't realized before that you can use this in your life, by something you've seen your dog do or your cat or your children, let me know. I want to hear those stories. And when you share them with me, I share them with everybody else in the LABCAF tribe. And when we learn from each other, we all get better. We can all move more effectively from the darkness of the challenges we've had into the light of being a thriver. So please do that. And if you need to send me an email instead of put it in the comments, just send it to cranford@labcaf.com. And of course, my name is spelled CRANFORD, like a Ford truck full of cranberries. Cranford@labcaf.com. Now, before you start banging on the keys to send me a message to let me know that I told you how useful it is to hurt someone to apply pain, but I didn't tell you how to do it, I know. The point of today's episode was to let you know that that is a possibility so that you start thinking in a different way. I am going to tell you how to do those things, how to apply pain. It's terrible that I know that stuff, but I do, and I'm going to share it with you. But you have to understand that there are so many different ways that that's possible. I could teach a week and a half on applying pain to somebody. Isn't that horrible? But anyway, I will be telling you in small bits and pieces, stuff that you can get in your head and keep so that you're ready to use it whenever you need to, about how to apply pain, whether it's using a key or your fingernail or your mouth or your foot or a fork or a pencil or a book. There's 1,000,001 ways, and I'm going to go over not all of them, but a whole lot of them as we go through different episodes, okay? So don't worry, I will be teaching you. Yet another reason to make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel or to our email list, okay? All right then. So until next time, as we keep moving from survivors to thrivers, this is Cranford Blackman reminding you to stay safe and stay strong. To make sure you never miss an episode of Survivors to Thrivers podcast, subscribe at LABCAF.com.